Hello and welcome to the Porsche GT4RS. This is the Cayman that the world has been asking for, begging for years. Put the big 911 engine in the Cayman platform. A lot of people have argued this is a better platform. It's fully mid-engine, it's lighter, it's lower, it should be faster around a track. Porsche has finally taken all the great RS products and put it in a car, and I cannot wait to show you around it. The intake in this thing is incredible. You actually have the intake replacing your rear quarter window on the Cayman, and it becomes a full intake with a plenum that goes through right behind your head. A lot of cars that are mid-engine, you have the cabin, a window, and then the engine. And this is the stuff of absolute legends. McLaren F1, CLK GTR, Maserati MC12. This is an attainable dream car with one of the most exclusive intake designs of any vehicle for $150,000. You're not spending $20 million on a McLaren F1. Granted, it doesn't have the same experience as quite that manual click-clack in a V12, but it's one of the most exclusive aspects of any sports car is having an intake design unique as this. The other thing that's so impressive about this Woodstock pack and those carbon ceramic brakes is this McLaren Senna is known for having incredible brakes. This thing stops faster from 100 miles an hour than a McLaren Senna. It stops faster than a GT3. This is one of the hardest braking cars in existence. It's a combination of having lightweight, gigantic brakes, and good weight distribution with enough tire. So even though this car is an absolute track missile, its sole purpose is to go fast around a track. It's a Cayman inside. It's ridiculously practical. I mean, it's got cup holders that pop out. You've got two cup holders here. Very practical, not a whole lot of track cars have that. You have good headroom, you have good leg room like a normal Cayman does. You've got two trunks in this car. You've got a front trunk that can fit a couple suitcases. You've got a rear trunk behind the engine that you can fit even more stuff. You can fit clothes and a soft bag back there. Even though this thing's a track missile, you can drive it every single day. You can do road trips in it. It's remarkable how they package this whole thing. So you can really tell with this car, it is a proper RS car. It took Porsche a very long time to come out with the Cayman RS product, but now that it's here, boy, am I happy with it. There's the little things that make a big difference in terms of like this front splitter design. You've got all this support through here, but also you've got this cable. You will scrape this front lip somewhere, even with front lift system on it. And so if that pushes up, all it does is take a little bit of tension off this cable. You're not gonna like break some stabilizer shaft. Really smart design, because when you pull down on it, it's gonna pull that cable and bring the car down with all that aerodynamics. Underneath the car, the work they've done to keep everything so flat, but you've also got these vanes through here behind and on the inside of these front tires to direct air underneath the car and away to the outside and keep this center air clean for that rear diffuser, gigantic rear diffuser back there. Aero takes a lot of time and a lot of money to develop properly, and to see Porsche really put a lot of effort into this car, things like this front splitter, things like having the vents in the front fenders and taking all that high pressure air out from those front tires. The swan neck rear wing out back that makes it from the GT3 and that GT3RS, having that little bit more of surface area underneath the car for cleaner air. They put the care into that. Rather than just taking the GT4 wing and lifting it up, they made a whole new mounting system just for the Cayman. It's really cool to see all this stuff up here, the front fenders, the hood being carbon fiber. This hood is actually shared with, well, maybe not an exact share, but it's the same shape, and it will swap over from a 991 911 because they are the same part. But you've got the vents up here for brake cooling. So the NACA ducts in this carbon fiber hood take fresh air and bring it down to those carbon ceramic brakes to keep them cool while you're doing track time lap after lap after lap. It keeps them cool, it keeps them consistent. So some of the other unique things exclusive to GT4RS are this new mirror design. It's not necessarily the shape, but the way they've integrated the carbon fiber. So instead of the old cars having just a cap and then some separate pieces to it, this is all one unified piece and then just a painted section, which is some extra effort and time. It's cool to see they did that. So I know I've kind of droned on about the intake, but I do love it. It's such a cool part of this car. This design particularly is kind of harkens to like Singer DLS. So if you know Singer and they're reimagined by Porsche, they've got their DLS project and it's got intakes like this. I wonder if Porsche saw that and decided to copy it, or if they already had this in the works, but what a very cool design to see on this car. I think the last aspect of this car that is specific to GT4RS is this rear window. It says Porsche on the top, in case you didn't know what this was. This is a Porsche. It's integrated into the glass, which I think is interesting. It's not a sticker on top or anything. It is a separate glass part than a normal GT4 or a normal Cayman. This is unique to GT4RS and exclusive to Woodstock pack. The lettering doesn't come on the non-Woodstock cars. And of course, this car is nothing without this absolute gem of an engine. Behold the 4-liter flat six, 9,000 RPM with these ridiculous intakes, and it's all clad in carbon fiber. What a cool special thing to see. What a crazy package for a track-focused car. And I think it's no doubt that this engine is what makes this car so incredibly special. This car's in because we're protecting it. We're using S-Tech's Dyno Shield PPF to stop this thing from getting rock chips, debris, protect it from its track time and its canyon drives. We're focusing mainly on the front bumper. It's got basically no miles on it, and it's already got a couple little sand hits on it. So we removed the bumper to ensure we tuck all those edges, give it the most invisible and seamless install possible. We're also going through, we're covering this whole carbon fiber hood because that's very important. If a carbon fiber panel gets chipped up, it's much harder to repair than a painted panel. These front fenders are made of carbon fiber, but they are painted. So Mario's going through and we're actually fitting this custom to this car, working around these upper vents and also that crazy shape on the side. No relief cut there whatsoever. Everything is gonna be tucked. It's gonna be a really invisible install and provide the protection up front for this car. These front tires, they are Michelin Cup 2s. They are very sticky, and especially with this kind of more open cutout fender design on the 4RS, you're getting even more rock sling and debris back here. So we're protecting this whole quarter panel kind of rocker area through here, and also protecting these carbon fiber side blades. This is for the other side. Porsche actually comes with a little strip on just the front edge to protect it from the factory, which is a nice touch, but we're doing this entire panel to protect the entire thing. And we're also doing a rear tire impact area. So there's like the leading edge of the rear bumper right behind this rear tire. This rear tire slings rocks and debris into that like crazy. I mean, within a couple hundred miles, you've already got a good amount of chips on it, especially with Cup 2 tires, so protecting those back there as well. And the last piece of really high risk impact area on this car, and one of those things that's really difficult to repair, especially because it's carbon fiber, is this rear wing. It's hollow and it is very light, but also it's something that we want to protect any sort of the lacquer from getting chipped up. If you have a car in front of you on track especially, you'll have stuff coming up and over the car and it can chip this up pretty quickly. So once the project's all finished up, we go through this final check over, because you never know, you go through a panel and there's a little smudge somewhere that you just maybe missed, so the next guy always catches it. So it looks stunning. I can't wait for him to get it out on the road and really enjoy the thing. I am in love with this thing. I hope you guys are too. I think this is probably the most fun enthusiast RS car Porsche's ever built, at least until 992 GT3RS comes out. GT3RS on that new platform looks as much of a race car as you can possibly get on the street. This thing might be more fun, but that thing looks incredibly impressive. I cannot wait to see one of those. So if you own a Porsche and you plan on taking it to the track, if you plan on taking it on canyon drives, rallies, having some fun with your friends, and you don't want to get chipped up, have rock chips and debris dinging up your car, give us a call, send us a message, or come by the shop and say hi.